big first time watch of the month is the sci-fi show Farscape. There you have it. So this is one people have been saying for ages, you've got to catch up with this show. It's really good. I've heard some really good things about it. I think it's sort of kind of like a cult show in many ways. So it had 4 seasons, and then there's a movie to sort of finish it all off because it did get cancelled a little bit prematurely. A real sort of throwback show. I'm about 9 episodes in. And I'll say because not everyone will know what it's about. So you have this astronaut, John Crichton, who in the first episode is on a mission. He launches off and he goes through a wormhole into a future dimension. And he, upon going through it, he accidentally kills off the brother of the leader of this renegade group known as the Peacekeepers. So then he ends up on a fugitive alien spacecraft with a group of other characters. And one of them actually is like a former peacekeeper herself, the Claudia Black character. Is that? Yeah, Claudia Black. So that becomes kind of the setup for the show then, is him trying to get home. They're all trying to get home, and the various characters on this ship and how they've got to coexist while they're being pursued by the peacekeepers because the leader isn't taking John Crichton's version of event and is out for revenge. And so it does fit into that sort of like throwback case of the week style thing or adventure of the week, but it really feels very much like a space opera, almost like that kind of in the Star Wars mold a little bit, but it also has like elements of other like sci-fi you might have seen. And so Jim Henson, his puppet company, did the creature design and the makeup and stuff, and that's a good place to start because that stuff is great. Like that stuff is right up my alley. There's a lot of like range and depth to it because you get some quirky characters, but you also get characters that are a little bit more intimidating, a little bit more sinister. And I think this sort of show just ticks a lot of the boxes for me, like when it comes to design and like practical sets and things like that, because like I just like how the world of like Farscape feels really lived in. So one of my favorite episodes so far is an episode where they go onto this other ship, and it's the episode where it's like the Rigel character comes up with people from his past, like, and they're on that whole ship. And I mean, it's a little bit of a messy episode, that one. There's a lot going on, but but that's a good example of what I'm talking about, where like just that whole set where it's very industrial, it's very sort of steampunk, and it's sort of like a lower budget version of the ship out of Alien in a way. But that's a good example. I really like that sort of throwback where it's all practical. And actually, the episode I watched today, episode 9, which is a really good one, which is the one where they go to the Mantor character, who they're hoping is going to help them get home, and he's doing like that eye experiment on them.
Yes,
like that.
Yes.
And that's a really strong episode because I like that one, looking at them all trying to get home, because it shows a different side to the characters, like a more ruthless side, because one of the things that episode does is then like this Mantor character, one of the things he asks for is like the arm, I think it is, of like the pilot of the ship. And you would, because they've built up this like bond and that, you would think they'd be like, there's no way we're taking his arm, but they are actually quite ruthless. They do go, and later on, even though he's resistant at the time, he's very much like, this is the mission, that kind of thing. The important thing is for us to get home. And obviously Quine's like, what's going on here? Like, he just can't wrap his head around it. But also that episode, the sets in that episode, like the Mantle laboratory set is, it's almost like something out of a classic like Hammer horror or something, and it just feels like authentic, really, So I really love stuff like that. Great creature design, as I said. Fun, like adventure of the week type stuff. Lots of trippy, wacky sort of concepts, playing with time and time travel. And the characters are good. I really enjoy
Zan.
Zan, that's the one.
Yes, Zan is my favorite. You can't see her in this picture, but I love Zan. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I really like about her character is she's the most calm one on the ship, and she's got a lot of knowledge and what have you, but you do then see other sides of her. So when she wants to be, she can be quite badass.
Oh yeah.
In the episode I just mentioned, she's pretty ruthless when it comes to going after Rigel and reduce him to try and get the crystal. It's fitting that in a Jim Henson type show there's a plot with a crystal. That's
of course.
But yeah, there's an episode where she's quite sexual quite early on, so you see many different sides of her, which I really like. And yeah, as a crew it works really well. Like they're all distinct and different, and you get to know them over the course of the series. I think the John Crichton character is a real sort of like, they're riffing on that kind of classic square-jawed sort of like,
I mean, just look at him.
Pretty guy, a little bit of a blank slate, but but I do enjoy when he comes through the wormhole in the first episode, and he's like referencing Star Trek and things like that. It's like, and he just has no idea. It's like that's what he expected like other planets to be like. So there's some fun pop culture references like that. As I hinted at, Rigel is a fun little character because a lot of times he is comedic relief, but then there's other stuff going on with his character. Like one of the gems with him is that episode quite early on when he's like kidnapped and they exchange prisoners, and the whole thing at the end is then Crichton has to convince the other guy then he's not, then Rigel is not worth anything basically. And it's brilliant because Rigel is in this bag when they're doing the exchange, so you get like these POV shots from him in the bag reacting, and it's brilliant. But yeah, they do a lot of fun stuff with Rigel. But yeah, fun show. Like I said, I'm 9 episodes in. It's ticking a lot of the boxes so far. Obviously, some episodes are better than others because it's that sort of show. But I get the impression that I'm only going to get into it more as I go.
You will.
I like Claudia Black a lot. She's really good as well.
Aaron Sun is good. She'll get more built into her character.
Yeah, because she is an interesting character having that past with the Peacekeepers.
Yes, definitely.
I'm not sure yet what I think about the sexual tension with her and the lead. I'm not. I think that's partly a product of the time with these shows.
Definitely.
Where you always. But as I get more into the characters, I might get more into that stuff. But she is very good. I do like her a lot, and of course, plenty of Aussie accents for her.
Yes.
Filmed in Sydney, so.
Yes.
Yeah, Farscape. I've made a start on it.
Stephen's going to be so happy. This is one of his favorite shows. He made me watch it. It's not exactly my type of show. We all know I'm not a huge sci-fi fan, but I did get very invested in the characters. Like you, I loved Zan. Zan was my absolute favorite. Oh, she's, like you said, just the fact that she's got so much calmness and wisdom, but there's a dark side to her too, and a pragmatic side, and she will do what needs to be done. And there are some great episodes with her coming up. I also love Rigel because I think Rigel has he's such a little bastard, he's such a dick. He thinks he's so much better than everyone, but he's got such a dark past. And there's some episodes that delve into that so well. He actually reminds me a bit of Rocket from the Guardian of the Galaxy series. He's like that close up arsehole. You think he's out for himself, but he's got a lot of trauma and a lot of shit that he needs to deal with. And he's great. And Crichton, I think, is a really solid lead character. Like you said, he's a bit of a blank slate. Like he's waiting for it to be filled in by his experiences, but he does get a lot of growth, and there's a lot of stuff that he goes through which help him to mature a bit and wise up a little bit. One of the things I found really interesting about this is the ship that they live in, Moya. She's alive. Like, I thought that was a really interesting concept. Like, the ship itself is actually alive, and there is a whole episode, I think it's in season 2, that focuses on Moya and focuses on her and Pilot as well, because you find out some background with them, because I think Pilot's another character that's very interesting. And Pilot's one of those characters that, oh my god, because it's a Jim Henson puppet, and because you're always seeing Rigel, and Rigel is so small, you always forget that Pilot is actually huge. Like every time someone's standing next to Pilot, I'm like, God, I forget that Pilot is massive.
Yeah.
He's,
Oh yeah.
But, yeah, no, the Jim Henson puppetry is great. Both Rigel and Pilot are really, really strong. The look of them and everything is great. And yeah, the different worlds that they explore, like you said, it feels like a lived-in universe, and it's very interesting. And yeah, I think as you continue watching, you're only going to get more and more involved, because it will start, like most shows, it will start to go away from the Monster of the Week storyline. You get some more involved storylines. Crace comes back a lot. Like he's the guy that whose the brother was killed.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's a very well-known Kiwi actor, New Zealand actor, the actor who plays Crace. Yeah, and
yeah, I quite like him. He's pretty.
Yeah, good. A lot of people like Crace, and then there's another big bad that you're going to meet later on, who was one of Steven's favorite big bads of ever. So it'll be interesting to see how you go. But no, I had Steven was muttering the other day. He's like, Keith better like fuck it. I said to him, I'm like, look, Farscape is up Keith's alley. Like it's his kind of show, it's his kind of characters, it's his kind of world. I think this one will be okay with. So I'm very glad that you're enjoying it. I shall report to Steven, and I'm sure he will be very pleased. Oh, that being said, you won huge points when he found out what a big Red Dwarf fan you are. So yeah.
Yeah, and there are sort of similarities to this and Red Dwarf.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like the ragtag team, stuck in space, kind of forced to coexist together. I mean, when you look at Crichton and Dargo, there's definitely some Lister Rimmer stuff going on there. Definitely a bit of stuff. But no, I'm really glad you're enjoying it, and I will let Stephen know, and he will be very happy too.
This is madness! On the ground now! What is the matter with you people?
Soft, yes. Weak, no.
I am in charge.
Boy, was Spielberg ever wrong. Close Encounters my ass.
Now.
Roger, Bart.
Approaching maximum velocity.
Hold a moment.
What?
Meteorology reports some kind of electromagnetic wave.
Canaveral.
John.
Canaveral.
Abort now.
That's big. That's really big.
We've done it! We've escaped!
All prowlers terminate assault.
What is your rank and regiment? It's time for us to eat.
Eat what?
Where are you from?
He claims to be a human from a planet called Earth.
Exposed to what? What's in the damn shuttle?
The ultimate weapon.
They should be scanning.
Move and you die.
Boy, was Spielberg ever wrong. Close Encounters my ass.
Stay as long as you desire.
She gives me a Woody.
Willies. She gives you the willies.
Oh, here you go.
Is nudity a taboo in your culture? Are you ashamed of your bodies? be weapons on board we can use.
No!
The escaped prisoners.
Falsely imprisoned.
How does she know it's us?
This is my world, John. Don't interfere.
Hello, Rigel. Welcome home. He was a monster.
Terminate plasma!
I feed on this.
Are you completely insane?